All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESET UK Masters. We are still here in the round of 8, but we're about to complete all of the remaining games in this round of 8, I think, because we're going into game number 2 now, a mid-series between Prop Hobbe and FXO's Strelok, with Strelok currently up 1-0. Map number 2 is going to be on Daybreak, and it will, of course, be a Zerg versus Terran. Hobbe is a Zerg player, or Hobbe. And Strelok is playing the Terran pieces. So guys, let's get into game number 2. Spawning over here in the top right position, ladies and gentlemen, making a tearing run through the bracket so far, but he is 1-0 down in this best of 3. Will he be able to come back? It is Props Hobbe. And his opponent spawning in the bottom left position as the red Terran player representing FXO. Guys, give it up for Strelok. So a pretty cool TVZ here, and the winner of this is guaranteed a spot in the semi-final. In fact, are they going to be playing against Zocca? Yes, they are. So the winner of this series plays Zocca for a spot. Subsidized with prize money and all that good jazz at I-47. So we may very well jump straight into that semi-final when this particular series finishes. Can Strelok make it 2-0? Supply depot going off at the wall. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. We have gone up to 14 workers, 13 rather, on Hobbe's side of the map, and it looks like he is going to be sending out a drone scout. So everything looking pretty hunky-dory over here. It looks like that's probably going to be for a hatchery. Indeed it is. So Hobbe is just going to be placing that bad boy down. There we go. And it looks like a command center first is going down for Strelok just in time for this drone to see that it's already gone down. And hang on a second, says Hobbe. Already a command center? I'm going to have to do something about this. Attempting to do a little bit of a damage with the SCV there, but unable to quite make it stick. And it looks like this drone... Oh, the SCV could have kept going because the SCV was hitting the drone literally like a fraction of a second faster. I was watching that, being very mesmerized, and I think Strelok's worker had the tiniest of edges over Hobbe's, but it looks like both players had decided to pull back with their workers last minute. Spawning pool going down after the hatchery now for Hobbe, and Strelok just going to be continuing after his CC first with his barracks at the wall off. So cool, calm, collected out of him so far. Note that there is no orbital command at the moment. He instead wanted to build a couple more SCVs and get that command center down early. And of course, after that CC first, you can't get the orbital until the barracks goes down. So you might as well continue building these SCVs, which is what happens most of the time in a command center first build, in case you guys don't see them that often, but all pretty normal here and par for the course as far as Strelok is concerned. In the meantime, Hobbe just going to be grabbing his double queens, of course, now that the pool is done. And we see both gases being taken inside the main base of Strelok right now. Are we going to see him go into Reacted Hellions? Of course, a pretty bread and butter choice when it comes to playing against Zerg, and a CC first version of Reacted Hellions is just going to be slightly more economical. And indeed, that's exactly what's going to be happening here. We have the reactor going down on that barracks and the factory being built right next to it. So we should be seeing some Hellions pop out immediately after. Let's see if he ends up following this up with a Banshee or 3. In the meantime, Orbital Command looking pretty chilled out there. We have an SCV still out in the middle of the map, scouting out a couple of those lings, and Hobbe is now going to be exerting just a little bit of map control. Needs to try and get this Overlord across the street, if you like, without any Marines seeing him, but it looks like he's going to be able to do so, at least at the moment, as we now have Reacted Hellion starting to be produced on Strelok's side of the map. And a starport going up as well. And that barracks floating right next to the starport is very indicative of fast Banshees. We can see a tech lab going down there as well. As soon as that tech lab is done, this barracks is going to float away and allow the starport to take its place so that Banshee production can immediately commence. Now, how much gas does he have at the moment? He has 220 gas. He doesn't have enough for a Banshee plus cloak, but he could also just research cloak first because it takes longer to research than it does to build a Banshee and then go for that. What is he going to choose? It looks like he's going straight for the Banshee, and after waiting a few seconds, thank you, supply block. Okay, now the cloak is going to be going down as well. So it looks like with that bump of a couple of seconds, he actually did have enough gas to go for both at the same time, and that, of course, completely rips through his gas supply. He's back down to effectively fresh out. Third and fourth gases, as a result, being taken as his natural expansion. In the meantime, an engineering bay block does actually get cancelled over here at the third base of our Zerg player. And Hobbe is going to be able to take his third, should he choose to do so. But we have got some Hellions moving into the main. Hobbe being ever so slightly careless with his drones here. And it's a little bit of a buffet in the main base. And it looks like everyone is invited as these Hellions start roasting away. A little bit of a mistake from Hobbs there. Good hold position micro there on that drone, trying to minimize the amount of losses. And it looks like one Hellion's going to go down. Oh, no, that second one actually surviving with 2 hit points. A drone could actually hit that and getting a couple more kills for his trouble as well. Oh, my, actually, that 2 HP Hellion? No. Okay, cool. This queen must think she's an absolute boss at the moment because these 3 queens couldn't do anything. And then this queen just one-shots absolutely everything. But now we're going to be following up with a Banshee coming out from Strelok here. What will he be able to do with this? Going to be following up the Hellion Harass with Cloak. And the Spore Crawler is not even close to complete. In fact, going to be targeting down the queen as well. If I were him, I'd probably go for more drones because there are a decent number of queens out. It's not like he's going to start missing injects as long as he moves the rest back, but we do have some Hellions now at the bottom. The queen's trying to prevent them from getting in, and once again, a little bit of a hole for the Hellions there. Strelok just able to do so much damage, and this Banshee now up to 4 kills and counting. The Hellions still in the natural expansion. The queens do a little bit better job trying to clean up this time. Workers killed 23-0 though, and Strelok is doing, oh, never mind, 25-0, and still with 1 Hellion remaining. Hero Hellion, let's see what he can get up to here. All of these drones are at full health though, and whoops, the Banshee getting moved straight into the Spore Crawler. I'm afraid cloaking ain't gonna help you there, buddy, as we have not quite another drone going down. So 26, 27 now, 28. Dear, oh dear, this really is a buffet. 29, and Strelok gets the heck out of dodge. He has got a couple of Hellions now at the forward command tower, Zelnaga Tower even, and he's going to be going for his third base. This Overlord, of course, does actually see it. So Hobbe knows the timing here, but just what can he realistically do about it? I'm not 100% sure. I just want to Overlord moving in to Suicide and check out all of the tech that is going down in the main base. Double Armory pumping out those upgrades there. And a single Marine going to eventually blast down this Overlord if he allows it. It looks like he should be able to get that. Still starport producing more units. We do have a Raven going out now and additional factories coming down, which means Strelok is going to be transitioning into a mech-style play coming out of this. But what does Hobbe have to say about it? He's going for his lair. We can see the Roach Warren going down as well. And 1-1 melee and Carapace upgrades are coming in for Hobbe. So they're going to benefit his Zerglings, but not his Roaches on the attack upgrade. Let's see what kind of plans he has in store for the Lings a little bit later on in the game. The work supply is currently 52-51 in favor of Strelok. But the workers killed is 34, ladies and gentlemen, to 2. Not bad at all, as we have another Banshee just sort of chilling out, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Now the layer is complete. Gleal Reconstitution starts immediately for Strelok there, as well as the Infestation Pit. He's going to start to invest quite an awful lot in these Roaches. Let's see what he ends up doing with them a little bit later on in the game. Hellions will be able to rotate those Scouting Zerglings, so Hobbe not able to get quite as much information as he otherwise would have desired, and now Strelok does see that the Overlord is there. We'll probably send a couple of Marines in due course. That is an SCV though. He'll probably pick that off a little bit later on in the game, as we now have the drone transfer to the third, which is finally safe and secure, thanks to all of these queens. The current worker count is 58 dead. So Hobbe, if he was reeling from those worker losses before, he's not quite showing it yet, but he is currently down about 40 supply. So what will he be able to do to make it back up? We can see he's actually going for a decent number of upgrades there. We have got a 1-1 as well for Strelok, already complete, but 2-2 has not yet started on these Aubrys. And of course, as soon as I say that, both of them do begin. So the winning lottery ticket has not yet appeared under my chair. And I'm afraid it still isn't there. Better luck another day. A Raven coming in with this unit composition to pick off creep tumors as well, so that Strelok does not have to utilize that energy on the orbital commands for scans. And Thor has joined this army composition as well. So it looks like Thor, Hellion, Banshee with a Raven. Quite strong here from Strelok, but is it going to be enough to break down the front door of Hobbe? And Strelok evidently does not think so, which is why he is immediately moving back home. In the meantime, Lonely Overlord is lonely over here on the left-hand side of the map. Let's see what else is in store here. Hive has just started now for Hobbe at the 14-minute and 15-second mark. His upgrades on the Roaches are currently 0-1 with +1 on the way as well. And wow, Neural Parasite getting researched quite quickly there as well for those infestors. So perhaps thinking of Neuraling the Thors in Strelok's army composition and hoping to use them for long enough against the Terran army that Hobbe can win the big engagement that way. So let's see how that plays out for him in the long run. The Spire, of course, is there and will get to morph into a Greater Spire relatively quickly after the Hive completes, assuming nothing else happens to Hobbe here. Strelok now going to be taking his 4th command center in the center of the map as he floats his Banshees back home. I'd like to see a little bit of a repair on that. I thought that's exactly what they were coming home for, and it still might well be as they fly towards the bait base. A 5th base getting taken from Strelok as well. He's feeling super confident. Hobbe hasn't actually seen this yet, and it looks like the Hellions are going to be able to pick off yet another scout coming out from Hobbe. Now, Hobbe knows that this 4th base is down now, and he doesn't quite see with the Overlord, actually. It's just a little bit too far in, but this base is being taken as well. We'll be able to see that once SCVs are there, and Strelok has decided now is a good time to push out across the map. A bunch of siege tanks have joined this composition now. A lot of Hellions, a Raven, and a decent number of Banshees with those Thors, don't forget. And if these tanks are siege, it's going to be so difficult for Hobbe to use Neural Parasite on these Thors or even on the tanks, simply because the tanks outrange what Neural is capable of. And so many creep units getting taken out at the 3rd base here. Hobbe is going to have no choice but to attack. A lot of beach balls going down there just to test the waters. Sees that there are a lot of sieged up tanks. Needs to be oh so careful, but I just don't know what he can do at this point. He is down 173 to 139 supply. A lot of infested Terrans come up, but he is using a lot of the energy on his infestors on stuff that isn't actually doing as much damage as Fungal would have in the long term. But what choice does he have? He can't get near those tanks. He really is between a rock and a hard place now. 157 supply versus 119. It looks like Strelok here might be poised to take game number 1. And everything getting chucked at Strelok from Hobbe now. Probes being pulled. The Banshees cloaking. GG, because it's not going to quite be enough. And Strelok, ladies and gentlemen, wins game number 2 and the series against Hobbe 2-0. So that sends Strelok through to the semifinals, ladies and gentlemen. So that's going to be our first semifinal matchup there. It will indeed be Strelok versus Zaka. It will be a TVP to decide which of these players gets that last round of 16 seed. Sorry, the first round of 16 seed in I-47 as a guest of ESET UK Masters. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be going to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, it's likely going to be the first semi-final.